Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where we are constantly in search of something greater. We seek answers to the mysteries that have eluded us for centuries. One of the most profound questions that humankind has grappled with is the arrival of the Kalki Avatar. The stories, myths, and prophecies surrounding Kalki, the final incarnation of the divine, have sparked debates and expectations across cultures and philosophies. But rather than focusing solely on when or how this avatar will appear, let us shift our perspective. Let us consider the essence of this question and what it reveals about us. It's easy to get lost in the idea that someone will come and fix our world, but the real question is, when are we willing to look within and change ourselves? The answer to this question lies not in a distant prophecy, but in our own willingness to transform, evolve and awaken. The arrival of Kalki Avatar is not just about a person coming to deliver some divine message. It's about a state of consciousness, a moment of profound awakening, a possibility that exists in every moment. It's not merely about predicting the future, but realizing that the future is shaped by our actions today. So when will Kalki Avatar arrive? Perhaps the better question is, when will you choose to awaken to your true nature? Human beings have always been in pursuit of something greater than themselves. It's a fundamental part of our nature to ask questions that transcend the ordinary and to seek answers that satisfy the deep, inherent curiosity within us. From the moment we gain awareness of our existence, we begin to question our origins, our purpose, and the nature of the universe. This quest for answers is woven into the fabric of our societies, religions, philosophies, and sciences. One of the most profound questions humanity has asked is about the nature of divine presence. When will the Kalki Avatar arrive? The Kalki Avatar is often seen as a prophetic figure who, according to certain traditions, will come at the end of a cycle to bring balance, destroy evil and restore righteousness. This image of the divine hero who will solve all the world's problems and usher in a new era of peace sparks a deep yearning in people across cultures. But beneath this question lies something much more profound. It's not just about when or how the Kalki Avatar will appear. It's about humanity's deep-rooted desire for transformation, for a figure or force that will redeem us from the difficulties and complexities of life. The question reflects the longing for hope, for guidance, and for the kind of change that feels beyond our individual capacities. We want someone or something to come and restore order, heal the wounds of the world, and bring us closer to the divine. At the heart of this search is the question of responsibility. Why do we look outward for an answer? Why do we expect an external force, such as the Kalki Avatar, to come and save us when perhaps the answers are already embedded within us? The constant search for an external savior, for an incarnation that will come at some future point to deliver humanity from suffering, is in many ways a reflection of our reluctance to look inward and take responsibility for our own transformation. While the myth of the Kalki Avatar provides hope and structure, it also reminds us of the importance of inner work. Why are we so eager to ask when the avatar will appear instead of asking when we will change ourselves? Why do we wait for some divine intervention when the real transformation is possible within our own lives? This longing for an external savior is rooted in our collective desire for answers to life's most profound mysteries. But what if the real answer lies not in some distant time or figure, but in the depths of our own being waiting for us to uncover it? The search for answers, whether it's about the Kalki Avatar or any other profound question, reflects our deep desire for meaning and purpose. But the true wisdom often comes from the realization that the answers we seek are not always found in grand predictions or future events. They are found in our present understanding, our willingness to change, and our openness to deeper levels of awareness. The search in this sense is not just a journey for answers, but a call to action, a challenge to awaken, evolve, and be the change we seek in the world. The Kalki Avatar is often envisioned as a future savior, an embodiment of divine righteousness who will emerge, restore balance and bring an end to the corruption and chaos in the world. This figure, however, should not merely be understood as a literal person who will come and rescue us from external destruction. Kalki, as a symbol, represents something far more profound, a state of consciousness and a transformative process that transcends time and space. In many spiritual traditions, avatars are seen as manifestations of a higher consciousness coming down to earth to guide humanity towards awakening. Kalki, as the final avatar in the series of divine incarnations, is often associated with the end of the current cycle of existence, signaling the dawning of a new era. But to reduce this avatar to just a figure or a future event would be to miss the essence of what Kalki truly symbolizes. Kalki, in essence, is the embodiment of the highest potential of human consciousness. The arrival of Kalki is a metaphor for the awakening of humanity to its true nature. It speaks to the possibility of shedding the illusions of ego, power and selfishness that cloud our understanding and replace them with clarity, compassion and wisdom. Kalki as a symbol represents the potential for individuals and societies to rise above ignorance and suffering and step into a state of pure awareness and cosmic harmony. What Kalki truly represents is not the arrival of a specific person, but the arrival of a higher consciousness that is already within us, waiting to be awakened. It is the possibility of transcending our limited perceptions and realizing a greater connection to the divine, to the universe and to each other. Kalki's role as a destroyer of evil and corruptors of dharma can also be seen as a symbol of the inner work we must do to clear out the mental, emotional and spiritual impurities that hinder our growth. In a more practical sense, Kalki symbolizes the moment when humanity collectively decides to step into its own potential. It is the point in time when we choose to act not out of greed or fear, but from a place of understanding and compassion. Kalki is not a figure who will come to rescue us from an external threat. Rather, Kalki is the embodiment of the power within each of us to transform ourselves and our world. This transformation requires us to embrace our higher selves, to act with integrity and to move beyond the illusions that separate us from the larger truth. Kalki also represents the cycle of time and the inevitable changes that will come when humanity reaches a breaking point. It speaks to the idea of an end and a beginning of a shift in the collective consciousness that, while inevitable, is not necessarily tied to a single moment in history. The essence of Kalki is found in the realization that each cycle of time brings with it the opportunity for renewal. It is not about waiting for a savior from the outside, but recognizing that the potential for renewal lies within the process of transformation itself. When we view Kalki as a symbol, we are invited to look beyond external expectations and realize that the power to shift the world is already present in every individual. The true arrival of Kalki happens within each of us when we choose to transcend our limitations, when we embrace the divine potential inherent in our consciousness, and when we commit to the larger cosmic order that connects us all. In this sense, Kalki's arrival is not a far-off event, but an ongoing possibility, one that unfolds each time we awaken to our true nature. The essence of the avatar is not merely about the arrival of a divine figure to lead humanity out of darkness and into light. It represents a deeper, timeless principle, the manifestation of the divine in human form, meant to guide, teach and elevate the consciousness of all beings. Avatars in this sense are more than just legendary characters, they embody the very essence of spiritual evolution. They serve as bridges between the human and the divine, showing us that it is possible to transcend the limitations of the physical world and realize our true nature. When we speak of the essence of the avatar, we must understand that it's not bound by the time and space we typically associate with historical figures. An avatar is a timeless presence, a force that moves through different ages, adapting to the needs of the moment, but always pointing towards the same fundamental truth. The potential for divine realization exists within every human being. The essence of the avatar is about what happens when the infinite takes a form that we as limited beings can understand, relate to and aspire towards. In the case of the Kalki avatar, it is easy to get fixated on the idea that this figure will come at the end of the world's current cycle to restore righteousness. But this notion often distracts from the deeper spiritual significance of the avatar. The avatar is not merely a person coming to deliver us from external chaos. It is a force, an embodiment of divine consciousness that is available to each of us when we open ourselves to the possibility of transformation. The arrival of the avatar is a moment of awakening, one that is more internal than external, a shift in awareness that propels humanity toward a higher state of being. The essence of the avatar also speaks to the cyclical nature of time and existence. Just as the seasons change, so too does the world evolve, and at each stage there is the possibility for profound shifts in collective consciousness. The avatar represents this transformative force which comes in response to humanity's readiness for it. But the essence of the avatar is not about a singular event or an individual's coming, it is about the spirit of the avatar that manifests in many forms across all times and cultures when human beings are ready to embrace it. At the core of the avatar's essence is the idea of dharma or cosmic law. The avatar comes to restore balance and re-establish righteousness not through force or external intervention, but by igniting a transformation in those who are open to its presence. The avatar teaches us that true transformation comes not from external circumstances, but from the alignment of our own hearts and minds with the laws of the universe. This essence is available to anyone willing to look inward, question their assumptions and live in harmony with a higher vision. The avatar also represents the possibility of self-realization. The essence of the avatar is not something that exists outside of us, but something that resides waiting to be awakened. The avatar is the manifestation of the highest potential of human consciousness, clarity, wisdom and compassion that we can all embody when we choose to. It is the representation of our own inner divinity, waiting to be revealed when we transcend the limitations of our egos and attachments. Furthermore, the avatar brings with it a message of deep spiritual unity. Though the avatar may appear in different forms, across different traditions and times, its essence remains the same. It points to the oneness of all existence. The avatar teaches that we are not separate from the divine, nor are we separate from each other. It is through the realization of this unity that we can transcend the divisive forces that often lead to suffering. The avatar's essence calls us to remember our interconnectedness, to act with love, and to live in service to the greater whole. Ultimately, the essence of the avatar is the invitation to awaken to the truth that is already present within us. It is the realization that the divine is not distant or separate from us, but is an intrinsic part of our being. The avatar is not merely a savior coming from outside to lead us, but a guide, a reflection of the divine potential that exists in every human heart. It is a reminder that we are capable of realizing the highest state of consciousness, that we are all, in essence, avatars in our own right, capable of manifesting the divine in our daily lives. The true essence of the avatar, then, is not an event to anticipate, but a process to undergo. It is not about waiting for a figure to appear and fix the world. It is about awakening to the truth within ourselves, to the higher possibilities of consciousness that lie dormant, waiting to be realized. The avatar, in its purest form, is a symbol of our own potential to manifest divinity, a living reminder that the highest states of wisdom, compassion and truth are not reserved for a select few, but are accessible to all who seek them. In the realm of spiritual inquiry, it is often tempting to fixate on predictions, prophecies and the anticipated arrival of some great force or savior that will bring about change. Human beings have long relied on these prophecies as a way to navigate the uncertainties of the future, clinging to the hope that a specific event or figure will arrive to rectify the wrongs of the world. This desire for prediction is deeply ingrained in our psychology, the hope that a fixed moment in time will provide the clarity, answers and solutions we've been searching for. Yet focusing solely on predictions often diverts attention away from the more profound, immediate work of transformation that is required from each of us. While prophecies and predictions can serve as guidance, they are in many ways distractions. They point outward, making us look to the future, waiting for something beyond our control to happen. But transformation, true and lasting change, is never dependent on some external force or future event. Transformation occurs from within. It is a process that unfolds through conscious effort, through choices made in the present moment, and through a willingness to evolve beyond the limitations of our current understanding. It is not something that can be predicted or awaited, but something that must be actively cultivated. The process of transformation requires an internal shift, a breaking away from old patterns of thought, behavior and perception. It involves stepping into a new state of awareness, one that recognizes the interconnectedness of all things and embraces the possibility of living in alignment with a higher consciousness. Transformation does not happen when we wait for a future event to manifest. It happens when we choose to engage with life in a fundamentally different way. This choice must be made continuously, moment by moment, as we confront the obstacles within ourselves and the world around us. Transformation is a conscious act of stepping away from the old and embracing the new, but it is not something that happens overnight. It is a gradual process, one that requires patience, dedication, and a willingness to let go of past attachments, beliefs and habits. It is about looking within and taking responsibility for our own growth and evolution. Waiting for a savior, a specific moment of divine intervention, or the fulfillment of a prophecy is a passive approach. Transformation, however, is an active, personal journey that requires each of us to recognize our own power and potential. In focusing on transformation rather than prediction, we take control of our spiritual journey. We recognize that the changes we seek in the world begin within us. Each individual's growth contributes to the collective awakening of humanity. When we transform, we shift the collective consciousness as well, creating ripple effects that extend outward into the world. Therefore, the emphasis on personal transformation over prediction is a call for self-empowerment and conscious evolution. It is a recognition that the future is not something that happens to us, it is something we create, moment by moment, through the choices we make and the awareness we cultivate. Moreover, the idea of waiting for something to arrive, whether it's the Kalki Avatar or some other prophetic figure, can create a sense of disempowerment. We may find ourselves trapped in the belief that we cannot create change unless some external force comes to our aid. This mindset perpetuates the illusion of separation, the belief that we are disconnected from the divine or the cosmic flow of existence, and that change is something we can only hope for rather than actively participate in. Transformation, however, is an expression of our inherent connection to the divine. The moment we understand that we have the ability to transform ourselves, we realize that we are not waiting for a divine intervention, we are the intervention. Each act of kindness, each moment of awareness, each choice to live in alignment with our highest values contributes to the world's transformation. This shift in perspective allows us to let go of passive waiting and instead embrace the active role we must play in the unfolding of the future. True transformation comes from the recognition that we are the architects of our own reality. Rather than waiting for the world to change, we must look inward and ask, how can I shift my perception? How can I grow in understanding and compassion? How can I create the change I wish to see in the world, starting with myself? In choosing transformation, we choose to take responsibility for the state of our own lives and, by extension, for the state of the world. Waiting for predictions to unfold can blind us to the reality that the future is not set in stone, it is shaped by our present actions. If we continually invest energy in waiting for some future moment, we miss the richness of the present where the power to transform resides. The future is not something we passively receive, but something we actively create through the choices we make in the now. By focusing on transformation, we embrace the power we have in the present moment to influence not only our lives, but the collective trajectory of humanity. Rather than waiting for an external change to come, we must realize that the change we seek is already within us. Each of us has the potential to awaken to a higher state of consciousness, to live in harmony with the larger forces of the universe, and to manifest the transformation we desire. When we stop waiting for predictions to come true and instead embrace the transformative power of the present, we begin to align ourselves with a future that reflects the true potential of humanity, a future shaped by conscious, awakened individuals who are actively participating in the creation of a better world. In this way, transformation becomes an ongoing, evolving process. It is not an event that will happen at some distant time, it is something we must engage with every day. By prioritizing transformation over prediction, we embrace the profound truth that the power to create change is already within our reach, and that the future is not something we wait for, it is something we build through the consciousness we cultivate today. Prophecies have long played a significant role in the spiritual and cultural landscape of humanity. They speak of the future in ways that can provide guidance, offer hope, and create a sense of purpose. One of the most enduring themes in many spiritual traditions is the prophecy of a time when the world will undergo profound transformation, when a divine figure, such as the Kalki Avatar, will emerge to restore balance, purify the earth, and eliminate the forces of chaos and injustice. These prophecies serve as a promise that change is inevitable and that, at some point, there will be a powerful force that will set things right. Yet, while such prophecies can inspire, they also raise important questions about the nature of change and our role in the process. The prophecy of change, particularly in relation to the arrival of the Kalki Avatar, suggests that the world will reach a breaking point when the forces of ignorance, corruption, and destruction have reached their peak. At that moment, the divine will intervene to restore order. On the surface, this narrative can be comforting. It suggests that no matter how dire the circumstances, there will always be a divine force capable of setting things straight. But when we delve deeper, we realize that the true essence of the prophecy is not about waiting for a savior to come and solve all our problems. It is about understanding that change is not something that will happen to us from the outside. It is something that arises from within, and the divine intervention is a reflection of the potential for awakening in each of us. Prophecies often emerge during times of great uncertainty, providing a sense of structure and hope when the world appears chaotic and fragmented. They are meant to point toward a future where justice, peace, and harmony will prevail. But the question we must ask ourselves is this: what is the true nature of this prophecy? Is it something that exists solely in the future, or is it a process that we can begin to engage with right now? If we focus only on the arrival of the prophesied figure, we risk missing the underlying message that change begins with us in the present moment. The prophecy of change calls attention to the impermanence of the world and the cycles of time. It acknowledges that everything, including humanity, is subject to cycles of birth, death, decay, and renewal. These cycles are not random, they are part of a larger cosmic order, a rhythm that governs the universe. The arrival of the Kalki Avatar or any prophesied figure is symbolic of the turning of a new cycle, a time when humanity is given an opportunity to awaken to a higher consciousness. This moment is not a singular event, but a possibility that unfolds as each individual begins to shift their awareness and understanding. In this context, the prophecy of change is not a prediction of a future event but a call to action. It invites us to recognize that transformation is an ongoing process that happens in every moment. Rather than waiting for a savior to descend from the heavens, the prophecy asks us to awaken to the fact that we are all capable of embodying the qualities of that divine figure within ourselves. Change begins with us, the choices we make, the thoughts we entertain, and the actions we take. Each moment of self-awareness, each step toward living in alignment with higher principles, contributes to the fulfillment of the prophecy in a very real, practical way. The prophecy of change also reflects the reality of human evolution. It suggests that there are moments in time when collective consciousness reaches a tipping point, and the old ways of thinking and being can no longer sustain the growth of humanity. These moments are not necessarily easy or comfortable, but they are essential for growth. When the old systems, beliefs, and structures begin to crumble, it creates space for something new to emerge. The prophecy is not about a perfect world suddenly materializing out of nowhere. It is about the gradual, often painful, process of dismantling the old to make way for the new. It is about recognizing that true change comes through struggle, through facing the shadows within ourselves, and through the willingness to evolve. In many ways, the prophecy of change is a reminder that we are the creators of our future. If we continue to live in ignorance, perpetuate harm, or remain passive in the face of suffering, then we continue to feed the cycles of destruction. But if we choose to awaken, to live consciously, and to engage with the world from a place of compassion and wisdom, we are actively participating in the unfolding of the prophecy. Change is not something that will happen to us, it is something that happens through us. The arrival of the Kalki Avatar, or any divine figure, symbolizes the awakening of that divine consciousness in each of us, a collective realization that we are not separate from the cosmic forces at play, but are integral to the process of transformation. The prophecy speaks to the inevitability of change. No matter how entrenched the forces of darkness and ignorance may seem, they are temporary. The cycles of time are constantly moving forward, and change is a fundamental aspect of existence. The divine will not simply come to fix things, the divine is already here, in every moment, waiting for us to wake up to our true potential. The prophecy is not about a singular event in the future, it is about the possibility of an awakening that is always available, one that can begin the moment we decide to live in harmony with the greater cosmic order. Ultimately, the prophecy of change teaches us that the future is not a fixed outcome. It is a reflection of our collective choices, our actions, and our willingness to engage with the process of transformation. The arrival of the Kalki Avatar, in this sense, is a metaphor for the moment when humanity collectively awakens to its higher potential. This awakening is not something that will come from a single divine figure, but from the recognition that the divine is already present within each of us. The prophecy reminds us that change is not something we wait for, it is something we create through conscious living, through self-awareness, and through a commitment to the evolution of our collective consciousness. In the end, the prophecy of change is not a distant promise or an event to passively await. It is a call to each of us in every moment to awaken to the divine potential within and actively participate in the transformation of the world. The Kalki Avatar and the prophecies that surround it are not about waiting for a savior from the outside. They are about recognizing that we all have the capacity to embody that higher consciousness, to bring balance, wisdom, and compassion into our daily lives, and to contribute to the collective awakening of humanity. The true arrival of Kalki is not in the future, it is in the now, waiting for us to step into it. The world's transformation begins with our willingness to change, to look inward, and to live in alignment with the greater cosmic order. So, instead of waiting for the world to be fixed, let us become the change we wish to see. And in doing so, we will fulfill the prophecy not through expectation, but through action. The time is now. Let us awaken, let us transform, and let us create a world worthy of the divine that resides within each of us.